Today we are starting a series on single pitch rescue by demonstrating the pick-off procedure if we are using an assisted braking belay device like a Grigri. Hello everyone, I'm Jason. While it is less common than in multi-pitch environments, when climbing a single pitch, we can still get an injured climber on the wall who is in need of support getting down. We may choose a procedure called the pick-off. Today, we are introducing it using a Grigri as it is the simplest set of transitions. Our next video will use a tube-style plaquette device where things get slightly more complicated. Keeping tension, we can belay in the extra rope as we move to the foot of the wall if necessary. Then a simple overhand on a bite on the brake strand allows us to go hands-free, and the device is already set up to capture upward progress. We can now add a foot loop above us by adding in a Klemmheist or Prusik or the like, or by adding in something like a T-block if we carry one. We did a short video on the Klemmheist, and you can follow the link in the description to see the details of tying that knot. We have the option to place the brake strand through the carabiner on the foot loop, as we almost certainly would if we had a plaquette device. That would add some mechanical advantage to the motion of pulling ourselves in at the waist. A plaquette setup adds a lot of friction to overcome, unlike a Grigri, so it might not be as necessary with a Grigri. Another trick to consider is with the foot loop, girth hitch it around our foot so that it stays in place a bit more easily. To ascend, we alternate standing in the foot loop, pulling in all the slack we can out of the brake strand at our waist, and then sitting into the device so that we unweight and then can move the foot loop up. If we are going more than a few feet off the ground, we need a backup, so adding an HMS locking carabiner to our belay loop below our device and putting in a clove hitch with the brake strand gives us an adjustable catastrophe knot. At intervals, we want to take the slack out of our catastrophe clove hitch, reducing our fall length should our ascension system fail. Another option would be to tie overhand backups below our device every 2 or so meters as we ascend. With our ascension complete, we want to start our next activities by ensuring we don't have a lot of rope out before our catastrophe would engage. Now we can render aid and get ready to move down. If this were a trad placement, we may want to add more gear and make a proper anchor to back up the loaded placement we're hung on. On a sport route, we may want to consider adding in an opposite and opposed draw. That can be hard with a loaded rope and draws of the same size, so another option would be adding in a longer draw like an alpine draw. Again, opposite and opposed, this time just functioning as a backup. Or we could add in carabiners in a sling, threading the carabiners back and forth in a block and tackle, which gives us mechanical advantage to come tight on the rope before tying off the sling with a mule and overhand knot. We now need to capture our climber's end of the rope, so maybe using our foot loop, we repurpose it to attach a Klemmheist to their strand coming from their harness and connect that to our belay loop. We can clean the foot loop attachment, and now we can descend, adjusting our catastrophe clove or removing catastrophe knots as we need to on the way down. We will talk about options for positioning the injured climber relative to the rescuer in a forthcoming video, as there are options that benefit one type of injury over another, but for now we will walk back with the injured climber. On the way down, we may also consider reclipping protection above us as we pass by. That would add a point that might catch us should the top protection fail. Ever had to ascend the rope? What was your situation? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can watch a related video about how a device-assisted rope ascension, as opposed to ascending on friction hitches, really helps at terrain lips, or you can check out this entire single pitch rescue series as we add to it in the forthcoming weeks. We'll see you next week, and keep on getting more out of that big outside.